Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild. Tabletop Gaming Guild is all about the experiences and memories that playing tabletop games with friends and families can create. Today we're looking at Talisman 5th Edition Digital. And I'm just going to go through quickly, show you how to play and what changes there are in this edition, and then talk about my thoughts on those changes. There is a tutorial built into the game that is fine and functional. So given that, I'm just going to quickly go through the rules, just the general overview. So this offers online play. It's still in early access at the time of this recording, so the online play. I don't know how functional it is at the moment. But I'm going to be just playing a solo game just to show you how this works. So on this local game, any combination human or AI, okay. So you can choose your character. Yeah. And assassin. So your character is going to have various stats. Strength is their physical combat, craft is their magic combat, as well as how many spells they can acquire, because you need 3 or more spells, 3 or more craft to hold 1 spell. 4 gets you 2. You still have to acquire the spells though. Life, fate is a resource you can use to give you rerolls or change your movement. All the characters have basic abilities. So if you can go into details, they can tell you what their abilities are. They are default to evil, but you can choose your own alignment if you want. The game does give you a nice variety of characters, each with their own stats, alignment, and special abilities. Some are more PvP focused, others are more PvE focused. Well, since I'm playing against AIs, it's not as fun to do PvP. So I think I'm going to go with the monk. Kind of low starting strength, but great fate. And as I said, they can add their starting craft. Oh, just the starting craft, their strength. Oh, but that's fine. So they can add 3. So they start with basically 5 strength. You can have up to 6, but I'll keep it at 4. Okay. So wizards taking their turn, they start the game with a spell. Or are they just doing that? Start the spell. So in this game, you're going to roll a die, and then you can either choose which direction to go. Oh, I could use a fate to change my roll. Or I can go to one of these 2 spaces. I click on them, I can see, okay, either one of them will just cause me to draw a card. This wizard's kind of PvP, so I think it's better to go here and get a little further away from the board, from the wizard. Okay, auto camera. So I'll give you an adventure card. Okay, so adventure cards can be either places, items that you acquire, followers to follow you, or enemies. There's a hand limit for items of 4. Places just go into the location, have an ongoing effect, and replace the effect of that location until they run out. In this case, you get 4 life tokens on here, and each time somebody stops here, they can gain a life. I am at full health, so oh, I still can go over my max starting health. Okay. In turn. And the goal of this game is to get to the center of the board and fight the big bad, which all its stats are 10. And the closer you get to the center of the board, the more difficult the encounters on the spaces, because the spaces themselves will have modifiers to the card you draw. So he, I mean, my space, he could have encountered me or the space. He chose to encounter the space and get a life. Good, he needed a life. So, Talisman symbol is a 6. So I can go here, the hills, to draw a card, or I can go to plains to draw a card. Beginning of the game, the spaces are pretty much very similar. Okay, 2 gold, 2 bags of gold. Take this object. I got some gold. Gold can be used to, if you die, you can buy back your health, and various locations will give you things you can buy. Such as ferrying yourself across the river to get towards the center of the map. You also at some point have to acquire a talisman. If you don't have a talisman, you can't get to the very center of the map to fight the big bad. Okay, he's fighting a monster. He lost. I'll explain combat when I get to my first combat. Okay. I believe you can go if you wanted to. But I don't need to do that. Oh, they turned into Toad. Okay, that gives me an opportunity to talk about one of the things they changed in this edition. Toad, if I remember right, in the classic, it used to be pretty nasty. You basically stay a Toad until you roll to become not a Toad. I think you just basically, as long as you didn't roll 1, but you know, bad luck, you could keep becoming a Toad. I believe you also were forced to drop everything you have. In this edition, you don't drop anything, and you only remain a Toad for 1 turn, no matter what happens. Okay, I rolled a 2, so I can either go here, fields draw a card, or fields draw a card back. No, I didn't. Their strength is 6, and mine's 5. Can I undo that? I didn't actually mean to do that. Okay, that would be one thing that would be nice to have, is an undo. I was trying to just see if I could see what that card was. Okay, well, whatever, it's too late. My modifier's 5, there's a 6. So then we roll, just add to... Oh, and they rolled higher, so the total, their total's higher. That's a particularly strong monster at the beginning of the game, but oh well. Okay, so something I missed in the earlier turn. If I want to know what this card actually does, it does show up on the right side. I just have to hit show card. Okay, so in this, if I go here, I can be teleported to these various places. I don't think I care too much about that. I can go here instead and just draw a card. I'm fine with just drawing a card and seeing what I get. Holy Lance, which I cannot equip. Let's just grab it so nobody else can have it. The other thing I noticed, that in the settings, you can go to house rules, and you can actually turn on some of the classic rules if you want a meaner game. When on, you always will roll. Oh, that's interesting. So they've made it so if you re-roll, you cannot re-roll the same number you just rolled if you spend a fate. Dire Toad, you can do the earlier edition rules, which is just 3 turns. I think I played was like first edition rules was the one nastiest one. So they've toned it down a couple times. Fatalities, when you... Oh, you also... Yeah, drop items with the Toad. Fatality, more punishing for when you lose a character. You basically start all over again, which is awful. Yeah, that's how it was in the original games. Like, you die, you're starting from scratch. You get a new character. They've made it a lot nicer. You just go back to the start, keep all your stuff. You just spend your money to get health back. Race to win, you can just make it a shorter game by you don't have to actually defeat the guy at the center. You just have to get there. First place are chosen randomly. I think it's actually chosen by your characters normally, but you can make it random. Okay, this is something new. I just drew this wand here. What this wand does, it immediately allows me to get a new spell. And so every time I use this, I'm out of spells, I can draw a new spell. So we will get a chance to see what spells look like. Destruction spell. What does this do? Cast at the start of your turn or immediately after moving. Discard any one face-up adventure card on the board. Okay. Yeah, so there's 3 ways to cross the river. You either have a raft, which will allow you to cross here, which I don't have, which you can get from a hatchet. And there's a ferry you can buy, I think, at the spot up here. And the third way is fighting a sentinel, I think, but I don't remember. I'm not sure. Alchemy. At the start of your turn, before you move, convert objects in your possession into gold. For each object you discard, gain 1 gold. Which is great for me because I can't use weapons. Oh, okay, that's the other thing. I can queue this, so I can say, okay, I don't want to forget to use this, so I'm just going to queue it. It'll auto-use it on the first opportunity. So, okay, I get a wolf to fight, which is a pretty easy encounter. And then again, it's like my strength is 5 to start with. I roll, I add my roll. It's pretty unlikely I'll lose. It's impossible I'll lose. So 11 to 3, I just straight kill this. And it counts as a trophy. So trophies, if you see a trophy with a value of 2, and in order to increase my strength, I think or a stat, I have to spend trophies equal to the current stat, I think. So so I had 2 strength, so I can spend a 2 value trophy to give myself 3 strength. A couple more details on encounters. You saw that there's physical encounters, and now we got craft-based or magic-based encounters. So my craft is 3, their craft is 3, so I'm using that stat instead. And I should also note that any other character would also get a chance to equip weapons and armor, but I am unable to do that with this character. Okay, so now I have good stats. I can try and cross here, which means I have to fight Sentinel. There's 9, I have 10 base. 5, I should be able to fight this, beat this guy. So that was really important. I needed to get in this middle because I had the stats to go into the center and try to defeat the big guy. I didn't actually. I am moving here. I have a talisman, so you have the talisman to go to the space. So next turn, I can try to beat the big bad. The only problem is I have 1 health left. So if I lose, then I'm going back to the beginning of the board. I'm going to fight him with craft. I have pretty high craft, 12 versus 10. I do not have any fate for reroll. So as long as I roll okay, I will. Yep, so that should win me the game. Normally if I lose, the old game I think you might auto die, but in this game you just lose a health and go back 1 space or something like that. Okay, so that is Talisman. My thoughts on the 5th edition. Well, if you played Basic, Paladin, Talisman, if you played Classic or any of the previous editions, you will like this. If you haven't, keep in mind it's Rollamuth. Keep in mind it's an old title. It's definitely a main game that is full of randomness chaos. But this edition has toned that down a little bit. Some of the meaner elements have been taken out. Toad has definitely been nerfed. It only lasts a turn, and it doesn't force you to drop everything. If you die, you don't lose everything. So it eliminates that element of, well, I am now just simply restarting from scratch. Though the meanness can make it feel like you're not progressing much, you're never feeling like you are starting over again anymore in this game, this edition of it. So I think that's a positive change for sure. In general, I would say Talisman is definitely a better game. Best when you're playing with a group of close friends and just having silly fun, and you're not worried about hurting people's feelings by hitting them and being mean to them, and you're kind of enjoying that. If you can enjoy the meanness of it without worrying about damaging your friendship, then this can be an enjoyable game. Length is definitely going to vary widely. So again, this is best for an evening when you're not really, when you're just trying to have a social event more than serious sit down and think about think in depth about strategy or anything like that. This is silly fun. Think Munchkin, but more mechanically driven, a little bit more control, ways of mitigating the meanness. Getting your stats up is really important, whereas you're not getting reset or just being denied based on random luck of somebody happening to have a certain thing. So all the time, you will get hit a lot. You will lose things that are really important to you, but you can gain them back relatively easily. So that's my thoughts on Talisman, and more specifically 5th edition Talisman. Thank you again for watching. Please join us again on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and other social medias. And please don't forget to like and subscribe.